all, and welcome back. In the last session, we just saw like how to create a SoapUI project, and we just had a glimpse of the interfaces, wherein we first we refer to a bookstore application, and we just created a project, and we created some interfaces. Today, we will be looking at like how to create a test suite, and also we look at various ways of creating test suites and test steps. So in continuation with the previous session, let me just go ahead and let's try to create a test suite here. So in order to create a test suite, what you can do is select the interface, right click, and click on generate test suite. So for now, I'm just going ahead with the default one. So the default style would be like one test case for each operation, and we'll look at the difference, like what does it mean, like one test case for each operation and single test case with one request for each operation. So for now, let me go ahead with the one test case for each operation. At the same time, the request content, so either you can use existing request in interface or create new empty request. So let me choose the default, and as we noticed in the previous session, there are around 7 operations which is listed here. So you can check or uncheck whichever operations you want to select and create test suites based on that. So right now, okay, let me just for demonstration, I will use get item by title. So let me just create a test suite for this alone. Okay, so I have unchecked all this, and I just want to create a test suite for get item by title. Now I click on OK. So I'll rename this as bookstore test suite for get item by title. I click on OK. So let us go and check what is the test suite created. So let me expand this. As you can see, this is the test case get item by title. Okay, and this is the test step. So this is this. As you can see here, there is a SOAP request being created. So let me just double click on this. Let's maximize this. So like we saw in the previous session, so the question mark here indicates the test data to be provided. Okay, so for now, let me just give SQL. Let me just click on the play button. So here is the response. So we got one book details. Okay, so this is about executing at the test step or test case test request wise. So if I want to execute from test case level, so you can just double click on this. So here you will get the list of test steps. So either you can have one or you can have multiple. Okay, so in order to create one more test step, so right click on the test step and add test step, and let's say for example, if I want to create another SOAP request, click on OK, and here you can select for which operation you want to create a test step. So let's say like I want to create for get item by title again. So I click on OK. So right now I don't want to get into any assertions, so I just create by unchecking this. I just say OK. So as you can see, there is one more get item title request being created. So let me just recreate the default one. Yes. Okay, so for now, like in one test step we have already given SQL as a keyword. So let me give Java. Let me rerun this. So individually we just executed two test steps. So let me go with the test case level. Okay, I just double click on this. Let me just close. So now as you can see, like there are two steps available. So I will just click on this play button. So I'm executing from test case layer, so wherein the two test steps gets executed. So if I click on that, so you can see the same response. So this is one way of executing. So either you can execute the individual SOAP request or at the test case level, or if you want to execute from the test suite layer, So all you have to do is just double click on this and click on this play button. So here as you can see, there is only one single test case, get item by title, with two test steps. So I just click on this play button, so we can rerun again. Okay, so this is all about creating a test suite and executing. Now let's look at the ways of generating test suites. Okay, so by default, when you create a new SOAP project, when you pass the visitor, for example, let me refer to this visitor again. Okay, I just copy this visitor and let me recreate a SOAP project again. So file, new SOAP project. So last time we noticed like how to create from a single click by clicking on the SOAP request. Today I'm showcasing from file, new SOAP project. So I just pass this visitor here and let me rename it as bookstore 2. So here again, like along with create sample request for all operations, what I can do is I can create a test suite for the imported visitor. So I enable this, I click on OK. Now if you notice, you are able to see the same generate test suite pop up. So instead of having one test case for each operation, last time we saw this difference. So now I'll be selecting single test case with one request for each operation. Okay, so existing request, because again here I haven't modified any interface details, I haven't executed anything as such, so it doesn't make any difference for me to use either this option or this. So in this case it would be both would act as the same sample request. So just for your reference, I'll show this difference later. So I'll be choosing this default create new empty request. So I click on OK now. Okay, so let's take a look at the new project which has been created. So as you can see, like under one test suite and under one test step, we have all the SOAP requests being listed. So now if I want to generate test suite again, so right click on the interface, click on generate test suite. Last time we saw like single test case with one request for each operation. This is where like it is one single test case. Okay, so with all requests for each operation, that is for 7 operations, we have 7 now SOAP requests. I hope this is clear. So now what we'll do is we'll use one test case for each operation, and last time I just selected get item by title, whereas this time I'll be selecting all the operations. So I click on OK here. Now let's take a look at the test case. So as you can see here, this was the initial test suite, whereas I think I just overrided the test suite name. I should have changed the test suite name, but that's okay. So here this is one test suite, and this is where we can see like for each operations it is creating a separate test case. So if you're still not clear, so let me show it again. Let me remove this. Okay, so what I will do is I'll right click here, generate test suite. So I'm going ahead with single test case with one request for each operation. Sorry, one test case for each operation. And let me click on OK. So here I'll just give it as test suite 2. So as you can see, for each operation it has created a separate test case. And now let me recreate again generate test suites. So this time I'll go ahead with single test case with one request for each operation. Okay, so let me change the name as test suite 3. Now if you notice, there is one test step with 7 requests. So basically this is the difference. So here there is an option where you are selecting for each operation, you are keeping it in a adding as a new test case with one test step and one SOAP request, whereas the other option lets you to create a single test case with 7, or based on the number of operations, like all the SOAP requests. And talking about the other options, so for example in the interface, get item by title, for example, right? So we have already given SQL. So just for clear understanding, let me change it to Linux. Let me execute once. Okay, so as you can see, we are able to retrieve Linux administration handbook details. So now what I will do is I will go ahead and create a test suite. Okay, this time I'll be using use existing request in interface. Okay, let's select only the get item by title operation. So what difference does it make is, so as you can see in the interface, we have already given a title keyword as Linux. So now when you use existing request in interface, based on the request structure and value whatever we have provided in the interface, it will use the same and it will create a test suite along with a sample request referring to your interface. So let's see how it is being done. So I select get item by title and I am using use existing request in interface. I click on OK now. So let me change it to test suite 4. Okay, so let's go and check it out. So here it is, get item title by test case, get item by title soap request. So if you double click, so as you can see here, it has written the values as well. So this is the difference between generating test suite using existing request in interface and creating an empty request. If it is empty request, then you should be seeing a question mark here instead of value. And if you are using an existing request in interface where you have already tried executing the methods or operations in the interface, then probably the values which you have provided in the interface would be retained. So this is all about generating the test suite and running the or executing the test cases at different levels, starting from test type, that is your SOAP request, and at the test case level and at the test suite layer. So now what we will do is we'll use this as a reference and we'll try to add an assertion here. I will showcase with a simple assertion. So let's assume this SQL. So in order to add an assertion here, so what we'll do is we'll go to the assertion section and click on plus button here. So for demonstration I will be using Xpath match. Okay, so here first thing is, if you notice the response structure, there is a namespace defined, right? So we'll declare the namespace, that is declare namespace ns2 is equal to http. Let's type in the namespace details. One second. So let me just maximize it. I'll copy this. So let's go back here and let's declare namespace ns2 is equal to this one, so followed by semicolon. Now let's say that I want to retrieve or I want to assert ID details, right? So what we will be doing is we'll give /ns2. So this is the get item by title, this is the root response. So I will just type in get item by title response slash the next element or tag is book followed by ID. So I'm saying the expected value should be 5. Okay, so let's test it once. So in order to make sure like whether the Xpath details whatever you have given Xpath expression basically is right or wrong, so what you can do is you can click on this test the Xpath expression for the current message. So now as you can see here, response matches content for declarations and get item by title by book ID. So I click on OK, I save it. So let's test it. So let me rerun this get item by title. The assertion has already been added, if you notice here. So I'm just clicking on this play button. You can see the assertion is passed. Now just for demonstration purpose, let me change the value. So here instead of id 5, I'll make it as 6. Let's save it again. So before exiting only, it's showing the difference here. Okay, so the title response expecting 6, actual was 5. So if I rerun again, it's the same thing. Xpath match failed. So this, in this way, like you can add the response assertions. There are various assertions which is available here. So probably we would be discussing in some of the assertions in the coming sessions. And to conclude, this is all about testing visual-based services and how we can add assertions and how we can create test suites and generate test cases at each levels or for each operations. So having said this, I would just like to conclude today's session. Thanks for watching. Bye. Take care.